Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going through my top 10 crochet makes of 2025. So I'm sorry I don't have my Christmas tree behind me. I had to keep moving it to put it behind me for the videos, but now I've got all presents and the tree skirt and things under there, and it's gonna be a kerfuffle to move, and I'm scared of tripping over stuff and breaking things, so it's slightly less Christmassy today, but I've got all my makes in this big Christmas sack, so hopefully that makes up for it. And I've also got my stocking earrings. So trying to force myself into the Christmas spirit a little bit, but I'm going to get on to my top 10 favourite makes of 2025. Now, for this list, I really wanted to focus on things that brought me a lot of joy, but also things that also kind of taught me something or was, just helped me out a little bit. So let's get started. As usual, any tutorials that I did use for any of these projects will be linked in the description below. So to get started, it is just this really simple amigurumi chicken. Now, when I was making this, it was just a really random project. I was watching a movie, I was feeling really anxious about things, and I just was I wanted to make something. I wanted to keep my hands busy and things like that. So kind of scrolling through Pinterest, I came across this pattern that I had saved previously because it's so cute, and it's called an emotional support chicken, and that just seemed very appropriate for the situation. I had this chunky white yarn left over from some Christmas present stuff, and I just went, this is exactly what I need. He is just so round, and he was very, very, very simple to make. It's basically just kind of working a circle and then working up till the height that you want, closing it up, and then there's some kind of shaping stuff you do with the sewing and stuff. I'll link the tutorial below in the description, and I love it so much. So this really helped kind of relieve anxiety that I was feeling at the time, and now I want to make a really big one of these with some really chunky plushy yarn. That'd be so cute. Yeah. Number 9 might come as a shock to make in the top 10 list, but it is the purple jumper that I made in the last video. Now, a lot of things went wrong with this, which is kind of why it might be a surprise it's in my top 10, but that's also kind of the reason why it is in my top 10, because it did teach me some things. Most importantly, I need to make notes when I'm crocheting stuff. A lot of the time I'm working on multiple projects at once, especially over the Christmas period because I'm making presents. So the time between me making the front panel and the back panel was a while, so I'd forgotten how I had attached all the squares together, so they came out a little bit different. So I need to make more notes. I need to take the time to write down all the things that I'm doing, even in really simple projects like this, just so I'm not having to make those mistakes. But also, I love the end result. I've worn this a couple times since making it. It's really cozy, it's really cute, I really like it. So for those reasons, it is in my top 10 at number 9. Okay, so at the number 8 spot is my 1970s hat. So I do have a video of me making this, and the reason this is at number 8 is because it was my first time working with a vintage pattern, which was a really funky experience. Thankfully it wasn't too different from modern patterns, but there was a few little bits I had to work around, which was great, a little bit of a teaching lesson. And also it helped me kind of feel the confidence to work with colour palettes that I wouldn't usually work with. It's definitely an interesting set of colours to put together, but the end result is really cute. I chose the same colours that was in the original pattern to get it as accurate as possible, and I really love it. I can't wait for summer, definitely more of a summer hat, so I haven't really worn it yet, but It's just so funky. And I love how it looks basically exactly how it does in the original pattern. So that's why it made my top 10. Okay, I've just kind of fixed my hair, but not fully, because the next one is also a hat. Number 7 is my fuzzy cloche hat that I made when I was trying Hobie yarn for the first time. And it's just so adorable. It is one of my favourite hats that I've ever made, but it also taught me some patience, because this yarn was quite a nightmare to work with. It's just so extremely fuzzy. The halo is just, I mean, you can see it's extremely fuzzy. I was struggling to find my stitches a little bit, not as much as I was initially worried I was going to, but it's next to impossible to frog. So it definitely taught me to slow down and really focus on what I'm doing, so I'm not making the initial mistakes. And the result is one of my all-time favourite hats, and I've made a lot of hats. There's another amigurumi project here at number 6, and it is the dragon that I've made. Oh, I love him so much. He's just, look at his little toes. He's so cute. I've got a little heart at the end of his tail. This is really cute, and obviously it's on my list because it's extremely cute, but I think it's probably my favourite amigurumi that I have ever made, and it also really helped build my confidence making amigurumi that's just a little bit bigger. All of the amigurumi I've made have kind of been a bit smaller scale, and there was also like more shaping and things like that involved in this one that I wasn't, used to doing. So it was a really great learning experience. Lots of new techniques that I learned to make all these like ridges and shaping his little snoot here. So he's really cute. I love him so much. Probably my favourite amigurumi I've ever made, and I'm excited. Hopefully at some point in the future I'll use this pattern again and make just so many dragons, because this is so cute. The tutorial for this will be linked in the description below. So there we go. This is number 6 on my top 10 list. Coming in at number 5 is my scrappy bag, my very chaotic scrappy bag. I love this thing so much. I know a lot of you will be out there thinking, why? It's ugly. But it's, I don't know, to me it's ugly in a way where it's so ugly it wraps back around to being cute, in my opinion. But this was like a really true scrappy project. I was holding different yarns together, I was blending different textures and weights of yarn, using like really tiny little scraps I have to just kind of keep building up length on like the strap. I used so many buttons from my stash, they're just all over the place, made a little kind of bag charm out of them, throwing some random bows out of scrap fabric and ribbons, these little doilies that were just in a bag of like scrap fabric and stuff that I got bought in a charity shop ages ago. And also a lot of these beads that you see on here are beads that I've had since being a child. They've just managed to stay with me all of these years, so it feels really nice having all of those with me as well. And I didn't use a pattern for this, it was completely self-drafted. I mean, you can kind of tell, but it's so silly, so funky. I was really into making like these spirals at the time as well, so I made a spiral bag charm, and I also like did surface crochet. I did surface crochet on this section as well, but the like section underneath it is freeform crochet. So it was my first time trying freeform crochet, and the reason this is on my list not only is because I love the final result, but because the initial base that I did I hated. It was just ugly. So I was like, do I just stop working on it? Like, it's, I'm not feeling it. But then I decided, well, what if I just keep making things and sewing them on? So just kind of really delving fully into the scrappy, silly whimsicalness of it all. And then I have an end result that I think is really beautiful. So that's why it's made my top 10 at the number 5 spot, because I love it so much. But it was a real like creative exercise, I feel like, to just keep persevering with a project and just throwing as much of myself at it as possible, pouring lots and lots of love into it. And then finally, I like the end result. So yeah, we'll use up a whole lot of scraps as well, which is absolutely fantastic. It was the whole point of the first 6 months of 2025. It was to use up as many scraps as possible, and that bag definitely helped with that, and I love it so much. Okay, so coming in at number 4, we have another bag. Now this is kind of a scrappy bag. I used up yarn that I already had, but I'd made my dad some Christmas presents with a particular yarn, and then when I finished it, I used up way less yarn than I thought I was going to. So I had a whole ball of this yarn left, and I don't know, I wanted to make something. It was another project where I was kind of not feeling very good, and I just wanted to make something and keep my hands busy to kind of help with my mental health a little bit. So I just started making granny squares out of this yarn here. It's just really nice dark blue, but it has like grey and pinks and little bits of orange and things in it. It's a really cool yarn. It was a James C. Brett Chunky Marble. And then I thought, wait, what if I turn the granny squares into a bag? Because I've been really wanting to make another bag that was actually big. A lot of the bags that I make, like the scrappy one, are quite small, very just nipping out or an evening out kind of bag. But I really wanted a day bag that was be able to hold all my stuff. So yeah, I thought, well, with all these purples and blues and pinks and stuff, maybe like a little whimsy goth moment. So that's what I did. I love it so much. It's so pretty. So I used all the kind of extra bits of like purple and blue kind of yarn that I had left in my stash. So all these ones here were from making a Christmas present from my dad. And then this purple here, it's another James C. Brett Chunky that I had left over from making my mum's Christmas presents. And then this yarn here was left over from when I made my mum a Hexagon cardigan this year as well, which is in there as well. So I also experimented with a couple of different granny squares I hadn't done before, like this spiral one and then this butterfly one on the back. So I got to use up lots of nice colours. Oh, and also I used some of the Hobie yarn that I got that I didn't like very much, but it had that like metallic thread in it in my hobby video, and I held it with the yarn I used to make my mum's Christmas presents. So then the centre square at the front is all sparkly and cute, and then this granny square was one that I had made during my like no new yarn 2025 challenge that I just didn't have any use for, and I was like, wait, I can use it in this bag. There we go. And I lined it with this really nice dark blue polka dot, and then I made a pocket out of a pair of pajama bottoms that my grandma bought me when I was a child, and you know, they've obviously been worn to death, so it's just been laying in my fabric stash because I love the fabric and I kind of have an emotional connection to it because it's from my grandma who's no longer with us. So this was just like a real labour of love using yarn that I have kind of is connected with my different family members, and it's pretty. It's pretty. And it also fits all my stuff. It's the perfect size bag. I am intending next year to make another one of this size, but you'll have to wait till my next video to know what the theme is going to be for the next one. But yeah, this is my sort of whimsy goth granny square bag. I love it so much, and that's why it's at number 4. Okay, we are entering the top 3 now, and at the number 3 spot is my unicorn jumper. It's so cute. Oh, I love it so much. I do wear it an awful lot. And this was my first time, I think, I mean, it's definitely my first time making a jumper, but I think it might have been my first time, like, actually making a wearable that wasn't, you know, like a hat or bag or, you know, scarf or something like that. Is bag a wearable? I don't think bags are a wearable, you know what I mean. This is like my first experience with making wearables, my first proper delve into tapestry crochet, and it was entirely made out of yarn that was already in my stash. This grey yarn, I had so much of it. My aunt gave it to me years and years ago. Managed to hold on to it. Now I have a super cute jumper. Though it is quite like a thick, very obviously acrylic yarn. So because of that, and also I definitely made the neckline too big. Like, it's fine when I'm just wearing like a vest or bra or something under it. It's kind of like cute off the shoulder. But it's a jumper. I wear it in the colder months, and sometimes I want to wear an extra layer underneath that, and I don't know, it just kind of, it looks weird when I have like my thermal under it, because I don't know, having just something covering here but then it's also off the shoulder, I don't know. If anyone has any tips on styling like that kind of thing, let me know. But because of those reasons, it just knocked down a little bit slightly, but I do wear it a lot. I love it so much. It's so cute. And next year again, I am definitely planning to make another tapestry crochet jumper because they're just so cute. Look at it. It's a unicorn. So yeah, there's my number 3 spot, and it's so cute. Coming in at my number 2 spot is my first ever Hexagon cardigan. I love it so much. It is so unbelievably cozy. I'm obsessed with Hexagon cardigans now. I am planning to make more, but I need to restrain myself a little bit and not just always make them instead of other things. But this made me so happy to make. It was like a treat to myself. It was the first new yarn that I bought in 2025 after 6 months of not buying any, just using up all my scraps, and then kind of getting to the point where I run out of creative juices to figure out what to do with the, you know, what was left, which wasn't very much. I was like, you know what, I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve with the stash busting challenge. I think I deserve to get some nice pretty yarn and make my first Hexagon cardigan. Because after making my unicorn jumper, I was like, okay, I want to make more cozy wearables now, but I just did not have enough yarn for that. So I treated myself, and now I have the most beautiful Hexagon cardigan ever. This yarn will be linked below. It is so beautiful, it's so fuzzy, so soft, so cozy. Oh, I love it so much. It is so pretty. I'm very excited to make more Hexagon cardigans in the future. But yeah, this is just, it's just, I love it. And I also made a Hexagon cardigan for my mum as well in the same yarn but a different colourway, so we're kind of matching, but a little bit different, so that's really cute too. I just love it. Hexagon cardigans are a really great, like, big beginner project, I think. If you're okay with kind of just repetitive motion, that can kind of bore people a little bit, but if that's something that you like and it relaxes you and you're a beginner, Hexagon cardigans are actually really easy. There's a ton of tutorials and tips and things like that online, so highly recommend, and they're super cozy.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, of course it had to be my Swamp Witch hat at the number 1 spot because it is so silly. I love it so much. And in general, I really love the look of scrappy projects where you don't weave in the ends, where it's kind of made to look messy. I understand why people don't like it because, again, it is messy looking. But I think it really works with the vibe and the energy. Such a weird way to describe it, but you know what I mean, the kind of the vibes of this hat, and made little shelf mushrooms. There's little bits of leaves and all sorts of silly bits hanging off it. I just think it is so cute and whimsical. I used up so many scraps, which was absolutely fantastic for my project. I think it is really cool, like, if you've got like loads of scraps, like organizing them by like kind of colour families to then make a scrappy project. Definitely makes it a little bit more cohesive, even though I, do like my scrappy cat hats. If you want to see those, they're in my like No New Yarn of 2025 videos and my hat video, where it's colours are all over the place. But this was really nice. It looks more cohesive. So, there's a theme going on basically. But being able to make like a funky hat in a theme with purely scrap materials was really cool. I really loved I was able to do that. I was able to use the little tiny bits of this green fuzzy yarn that I had left over from, I don't even know I don't know where I got it from. I think it was maybe part of like a bundle. I think it was one of the yarns I had. It was just like in a bundle of, ends from factories and stuff. Just lots of random textures and colours and stuff. Bowl was so small, I was like, I'm not going to be able to make anything out of this. But it makes a perfect addition to a swamp witch hat. And yeah, this is my number one. It is the best hat I've ever made and my favourite thing of 2025. I love it so much. It was maybe a tiny bit hard choosing between this and the wizard hat I made for my partner. But the mushrooms sell it as number one for me. So there we go. That is the end of this video. I'm hoping to get one more video out before the end of the year, kind of going through my goals for 2026. But yeah, there we go. That's my top 10 makes of 2025. It's been a good crafting year, I think, and I really hope I'm going to be able to make some more funky stuff next year. Thank you so much for watching this video and watching any of my other videos if you have. I'd really appreciate if you'd like this video, subscribe, comment, all those YouTube things, just because I'd like to be a part of the crafting community here. So just, tell me anything. If you want to let me know what projects you're working on, let me know. I need some inspirations. But thank you just for watching. I really appreciate it. And have a very happy holiday, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.